Dee dee.
Did it.
That's a good intro, that actually.
It's a brilliant intro. And we're live.
Personally, though, Kenny, I'd rather have a bit of Led Zeppelin there than that myself. But there you go. That's
Oh, you're talking about who's it? Roger Plant, was he in it?
Robert Plant, yeah. Jimmy Page.
Robert Plant. Who else was there? Was there another? There was a guy who was he used to be in the Yardbirds, isn't it?
Yeah, Robert Plant. Sorry, Jimmy Page.
Jimmy Page, yeah, he used to be in the Yardbirds with Jeff. God bless his soul. Jeff Beck recently lost his life.
Yeah, he did. And sadly.
Eric Clapton used to be in the Yardbirds, isn't he? So he fell out over the direction of the band. He recommended Jeff Beck.
Yeah, it's all a bit of a mismatch, that band. You had the Yardbirds, the new Yardbirds. It's all a bit.
What about the Faces? You had the Faces and the Small Faces, isn't it?
You did. That was the old. What's his name? Oh Christ! Come on, Scottish
Steve Marriott. Steve Marriott. It was in the Faces. Died in 91.
The singer. Come on.
Rod Stewart. In it. It was the Small Faces.
Yeah.
Those are 60s, 70s, but like made the the psychedelic 60s.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit before my time, but I mean, I love all that blues rock like music. That's my thing. So,
what about you? Slow Hand, Eric Clapton.
I am in a bit. I am, but I like his guitar playing. I think he's phenomenal, but I don't like him as a person. I've read his autobiography, and he certainly is not a gentleman to women. That is for sure.
Not at all.
So I don't like him for that.
No,
he does his off. Yeah, he lives about 11 miles up the road, up in Ewhurst, which is no distance from here.
All right, so he's off. So he's left Surrey and moved to Sussex.
Ewhurst is. I think Ewhurst is Surrey. I think I'm pretty certain. Yeah, it's near Cranley. And that's Surrey.
All right, so it must be.
Sorry about that. Bloody hell.
We kept it going anyway.
Cheers for that, lad.
We decided to talk about old music. The 60s.
Oh,
music.
lovely. Listen, I ordered a curry, right, and I couldn't do it off the app, so I had to ring them. And the guy said, "Yeah, I'll come, blah blah blah." Then he couldn't find the block, and there's 11 blocks here, and he was at block 11. Then I phoned him, and he was at block 1. I'm like, "Mate, what are you doing?" And then he gets there, gives me my food, and he goes, "Yeah, that's 38 euros." I said, "Yeah, card." He goes, "No, I didn't bring the card reader." But luckily he knows me, because a friend of mine knows him, So I said, "I'll just come and pay you tomorrow, mate." So, oh my days. But anyway, we are here. We are back. We're top of the table. We're 5 points clear. And man, just dealt with Man United, put them back in their cave, and sent them packing up to Manchester. Big up to everyone inside, man. There's 400 people nearly in here. So make sure you are smashing the like button up. I'm live with Henry in about 45 minutes as well. He's literally depressed with the state of Tottenham. They're going to lose to Fulham tonight. That'll be fun. Mitrovic. And man, how you been, Jez? How are you, mate?
Good, buzzing, still buzzing. Great, fantastic game of football yesterday. Absolutely brilliant. One of the best games Arsenal this season. It was nail biting. It was intense. It was scary, nerve wracking. Everything you expect from an Arsenal Man United game, and it stood up to how it's always been. It's and I said I did a match review thing late last night, and I said on that they are our biggest rivals, but the hatred is a different thing between Arsenal and Tottenham. That's hatred. They're not rivals as in competing wise, but it's the hatred. It's the how can I put it? The fact that they're the noisy neighbours down the road that get out of their box every now and again when they get a win, and then they like to try and drag us down. Never going to happen, people. So Tottenham fans, get back in the box and just shut up.
Well said, Jez. Well said. Very quickly before I come to Kenny, I watched that video with Flewers. He is such a troll. He is a troll, that guy. He is a troll. Lee is a massive flip-flop.
No.
What? Because I've been waiting 19 years for my team to compete again. Sorry if that means I'm a flip-flop and we're competing. They're only doing what I've wanted them to do since they moved into the stadium 16 years ago. You need to apologise to Arteta.
Oh,
okay,
God,
if I had a pound, it was like, remember before, lads, here, when we vocal about the manager, right? And it was, if you can't see what he's doing, you can F off down the lane. Then this fan base that was saying that was supporting them against Man City the other night. Weird, right? And then now it's not you can F off down. Now it's you're not allowed to celebrate and you owe the manager an apology. Why? You lot were making excuses up for 2 8th place finishes and a 5th. Like, come on. We were, Kenny, I've said this to you. You was there. We was there. Time for change banners against Norwich. Yeah, how long ago was that? Yeah, marching, doing protests, hanging banners off the armory, over the armory and that. Yeah, at the end of the day, I'll say what I like. And my standards have never dropped. The title is what we should be going for, which is why we smashed a beautiful stadium down. So anyone who thinks I should apologise, no, it ain't happening. You won't hear no apology from me. Yeah, number one, Mikel Arteta probably ain't got a clue who I am anyway. Number two, I don't feel I have to apologise because my standards, why should I apologise for wanting to win the league? Sorry, is that where we're at in life? Like, it's mad. So yeah, now I've got that off me pigeon chest. Go on, Kenny, how you been, mate? I feel like I might go and get my dressing gown, Kenny.
You get your dressing gown anyway. I'll talk to the team. First and foremost, right, I want to say that I'm fine, but I wanted to second that regarding people saying we should go down the lane. Well, I was down the lane last week, actually, watching our great club, Humble Spurs, and do the over him. So, yeah, so thanks for telling me to go down the lane. Don't worry, I didn't need directions because I've been there quite a few times, probably more than a lot of you guys are going to see us, our great club play, but we'll leave it at that. As for, Flewers, I've worked out why Flewers is all Arsenal this and Arsenal that. Terry Flewers is under the thumb. He's under the thumb. I take it that, his partner in crime's Arsenal. And, I suppose it helps him, like the situation at home if he bigs us up. So yeah, that's probably one of the reasons why he's shouting down the odds, and it's a commercial thing as well for him to be Arsenal. But Terry, Arsenal's our club, not yours, mate. You stick to Man United. It's our club. We'll do the shouting for Arsenal Football Club. We'll do the shouting for the club. You just shoo away and sort out your club.
Kenny chose violence to take it.
Go away, mate.
Hey, big up Flewers. I'm going to ruin him tomorrow, mate. Don't worry about that.
Trying to discredit Arsenal fans. It's our club. It's like me talking about my brother. I don't want anyone slagging my brother off. I can slag my brother off. Just like my club. Go away. Toddle away, Terence. Leave our club alone. Stuff you're missing somewhere else. Toddle away, Terence. Anyway,
Terry knows what he's doing. He's trying to wind everybody up. Yeah, I don't fall for it. But listen, I like Terry, man. He's cool. I know you like him as well. I know you're only winding him up as well. But at the end of the day,
I've known Terry for 10 years.
He's known him longer than me.
I know Terry before you did.
So anyone in this chat who's sitting there thinking, oh my God, there's beef. It's all kicking off. Come on, it's banter. Yeah, the same as Terry's banter. We're bantering.
Terry knows I love him. Terry knows I love him. I can't help it.
Yeah, come on, course. Terry loves the drama, man. He loves all the drama. Like in top 6, there's plenty of drama. Yeah, but listen, flip-flop. Do you know what a flip-flop is, yeah? Right, it's something that you wear to the beach, mate. Yeah, that is what a flip-flop is. Somebody who changes their opinion every single day on the football club based on a result. So one loss, you're out. One win, you're in. In, out, shake it all about. We do the okey-dokey and all of that.
Sorry to cut you, mate, but I had one person trying to ask me about my stance on Arteta, and I said, well, every time people ask me about Mikel Arteta, I will say the same thing I said before. The team is playing very well. I'm very, very pleased. I can't wait. I can't wait for the next game. The atmosphere is brilliant. On to the next game, one game at a time. That is my answer. Oh, but okay, if you really want to know, go and watch our play range. Go and watch their
Exactly.
videos.
This is the thing, right? People like I've watched a lot of content in the last couple of weeks. Yeah, and I've been on a lot of channels as well in the last couple of weeks, right? And the comment section on some of these channels is hilarious. I mean, this comment section is cool. But I mean, like things like this, for example. Big up Gregory, man. Appreciate you watching, mate. Don't apologize, but at least say you were wrong in capitals about Arteta. Bro, wrong about what? Has he won the league yet? No. Has he competed till the last month of the season? No. Halfway through the season, we have been the best team in the league. Granit Xhaka has been one of our best players this season. I know you didn't name him in there. Ben White. Well, less said about his performance yesterday, the better. But it's the worst one he's had all season. Right? But I've said openly, if these play, now this is where people get it wrong. This is where people get it wrong. And I know that when a new player comes to the club, you just want to back the player. I work differently to that. I'm not just going to give somebody respect and credit in the bank when they've done nothing for my football club. Yeah, that respect and credit in the bank has to be earned. Yeah, the same as it is in real life. If you go and get with a guy or a girl or a unicorn or whatever you want to call them these days, non-binary, of course, right? Then what you do, you don't just go, right, I'm going to trust you straight away from day one. Yeah, I trust you one. No, it don't work like that. Right. Yeah, you don't go from 0, yeah, to 100 in trust like that. It is based off of what you are witnessing. Yeah, and new evidence changes your opinion. New evidence, i.e., this season. How many times have you heard us sat here on this show, Gregory, cussing the manager, cussing the players this season? Odegaard at the start of the season, rightly so as well, because he was shocking in the first 5-6 games of the season. Yeah, Eddie Nketiah. Listen, I don't rate him. I don't care. Well done. He scored some goals. Brilliant. For me personally, he's doing all right at the minute. Fair play to the boy. He scored 2 cracking goals yesterday. Yeah, fair play. The first header, that header was sick, that first goal. But he's not my cup of tea, mate. Yeah, it's not my cup of tea. People don't like that. Tough. I ain't changing my opinion on him. He could score 15 goals this season. I still ain't going to rate him. Yeah, Ben White was Ben shite at centre-back. But at right-back, he has been absolutely quality until yesterday. Yeah, you could not say any bad word about Ben White. And that is why when we did the player ratings yesterday, Jez, yeah, we didn't go in on him. Yeah, when I did my fan cam, I didn't go in on him. He could have got sent off. I didn't go in on him. I was just like, yo, he's been nutmegged twice. Yeah, in the watch-along. Never went in on him. So people just take one little segment and go, oh, you need to... Shut up about apologies, man. Jesus Christ, these people make me laugh. At the end of the day, you base your opinions on what you are witnessing. We smashed a stadium down to compete with Europeans elite and to be the best in the world, or one of the very best in the world. Now, we're top of the table against some of the very best in the world, or the league, in terms of Man City and Liverpool. I know they've fallen away, but they were nearly winning quadruples last season. Let's not forget that. Yeah, and now we're top of the tree. I think right now, it's the 4th or 5th highest points tally after 19 games ever in Premier League history. And not once have you heard me, apart from the Man United game at Old Trafford, cuss this manager this season. Not once, because he cocked that game up with his substitutes. Other than that, I've shut up, because all I've said is when this club starts acting like a big club and starts competing for the major honour, i.e. the trophy, the aim of elite sport, I'll shut up. Cool. People want apologies. Jog on. You ain't getting one from me, mate. That is what it is. Anyway, now we've got all that out of the way. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Anyway, big up to everyone in the chat, man. 700 people watching live. Hey, legends. Do you think there will be more signings? Well, apparently we're linked to this right back, and we're linked to a guy called Weston McKennie, who I just definitely do not want at this football club. Bit like 99.99% of the fan base never wanted Ramsdale. I don't see everyone apologising to Ramsdale, by the way. Just putting that out there. But there we go. Anyway, let's get on to some more positive notes, Jez. Yesterday, 1-0 down, sloppy, all over the place, maybe nervous in that first half. Man City obviously put the pressure on us. And 2 points, that was a big test for us yesterday against a good Man United team, albeit without their best player. And maybe on another day, if they had their best player, maybe we wouldn't have won that, especially on that first half performance, that's for sure. Second half, I thought we totally dominated for most of it, if I'm honest, especially the last 25 minutes where they kind of retreated and just went to long ball, hoped to get Rashford away. Eddie Nketiah with a winner. Nice little ballerina back flick into the goal. Bullet header though, man. That goal, yeah, that was literally like prime Shearer, mate. The way he come running in on that, and he headed that so hard. The cross from Xhaka was brilliant. Saka's goal, brilliant. Nearly scored another one identical. But we showed a lot of mental strength yesterday, as Wenger would say. We were a little bit jaded in the first half, but in the second half, we took it up a level, man. What did you make of that, Jez, as a performance and a spectacle to watch, mate?
Well, let's put it this way. I think the first half, we were not on the game. I maybe were nervous. Man United were giving us a lot of grief. And just to briefly touch on Ben White, that's the worst performance of the season for him. It happens. It happens to great players. I've seen it happen to great defenders.
Edu and Mikel are ringing Kenny right now. They're asking whether we should go and sign this player.
Well, they want to come on the show. I'm sure they do.
Yeah, maybe it's Josh.
Yeah, he wants to come and have a little chat. Yeah, I'll just say. I mean, yeah, I've seen some great defenders have. I mean, dare I say it? I remember Tony Adams once getting hooked in a game at half time, which you'd never thought you'd have seen, and that was he was a top class player. It happens. It happens to every player. So we'll sweep that one under the carpet because it was one of them days. We all have bad days, but getting back to the game I thought was excellent. If you were a neutral watching that, you're not going to see much better games than that in a season. I was sat here watching your watch along, and I was out of my chair. I was like, oh my God, Christ, they're all over us. Second half, I don't know what he said at half time, but he certainly turned him around. So, credit where credit is due to Mr. Arteta. Well done, Mikel. You did your job, and I gave you massive credit last night in my player ratings, and I have done for a long time. Doesn't mean I think I have to apologise, as people asked me last night in my match review, that I should apologise. And one person whose comment was deleted, not by me, by a mod, I should have my head kicked in for abusing Arteta. I should have
Maybe you should have his kicked in for abusing you, Jez.
And I should have I should have my head kicked in 10 years ago. This guy, I obviously really upset, but
well
never
done.
mind.
Join the queue, mate. Join the queue.
Yeah. And I thought, well, I was going to reply, but I thought, no, you're bigger than that, Jez. He's probably about 15. And dear God, come on, get a life. No,
that's the thing that makes me laugh, though, Jez, right? Because most of this fan base that are online are a lot younger than us, yeah? And most of them, not all of them, but most of them that are online started supporting this club due to 1, 2, or 3 men. Yeah, let's be real. And that was in our successful times. So it's kind of funny when you fast forward it that it's now seen as negative and toxic to want to be successful again, when the whole reason they support the club is because we were successful.
Well, I don't get it. Just to finish off what I was going to say about the game, I think that second half, I mean, there was the last 20 odd minutes of that game. Man United didn't know what had hit them. They couldn't get out of their half. This is what I really like. And what I'm seeing is we were 2-2. It was a sloppy second goal they scored. Unfortunate. But we were all out. And you could see the mindset was, we're not going to lose this. We are not going to lose this. We're going to win it. And fair play. Well done. Well done to Eddie. Nice little back heel. Great goal. You won't see many of them in a bloody season, that's for sure. And I thoroughly enjoyed the game. And I have to say, I was much relieved when the whistle went, and I sat here and I shouted so loud that I reckon people down the end of the road heard me. It was quality. Loved it. And Kenny, at the game, man, it must have been phenomenal.
No, the atmosphere is fantastic. I've never seen so many people hug each other after every goal. I think the fans are completely behind everyone associated with a football club, especially the players. No, every player's getting the encouragement, every player's getting the support. Eddie got a fantastic reception. Grant Xhaka got a fantastic reception. Every player's getting really a great reception. And the Arteta song is as loud as ever. The only downside, to the game is that wretched North London song, which a few people think that garbage, load of garbage. I mean, it's not truly funny, right? I think anyone from North London wouldn't sing that rubbish. They'll see that song for what it is, a load of rubbish, garbage. Unless you're from Islington, born and bred like me and JEZ'S are, you'll look at that song and think, well, that's not an Arsenal song. And the places he's talking about.
If you actually listen to the words and watch the video, mate, it's all about crack dens and prostitutes. And that's the song for Arsenal.
That's the fun for Arsenal, really? That rubbish, that garbage. Please.
Mad, isn't it?
Drop me out. But in terms of...
we should know that this club does do gimmicks because it's got a drink that's being sold in supermarkets and shops all around the world for well over the odds.
Yeah. I thought a tenner or so.
Somebody up in Wakey Wines was charging £100 a bottle for that, mate. It's £1.99 retail price. And kids are driving all around the world to go and get it. Mad.
Yeah, but in terms of
in
terms of game, I thought it was a very good game of football. Something I really enjoyed. There was last ditch defending, not just by Man United, but us as well in the first half. Partey, I thought was sloppy. I think Man United targeted him. Him and Saka were responsible for the first goal. And I thought that, Rashford was virtually unplayable. He probably had his best game in a losing side. I thought, despite what people say about Scott McTominay, I thought he did okay. I thought Anthony, I think he needs to beef himself up a lot. But,
but what he
did is that... but what he did is that he was effective. He created a chance, didn't he, for that chance for McTominay when Ramsdale made a really good save. Ramsdale was sloppy, I thought, yesterday as well. And Ben White speaks for itself. But I think one of the negatives is Martinelli, and it says a lot that we're not allowed to say that we're not allowed to praise Mudryk because if we're playing Mudryk, we're criticising Martinelli. Well, I've got a lot of things to say about that. Sorry, no, Mudryk at Chelsea.
Oh, Mudryk. Remember, sorry, go on, mate. Go on.
A lot of people spoke about that performance at Anfield, and were very, 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 very impressed. And they're very impressed with Chelsea. Now, don't have a go at us. Don't have a go at the messengers. Our manager been trying to place Martinelli all season, all summer. First, he tried to get in Rafinha, wasn't able to do that. He has made it abundantly clear that he's rather than looking for a wing back, right back, he's looking for a winger. Now, if you've gone for Mudryk at £88 million, and then you're looking at players like João Felix, and then you finally got Trossard, and then there was talk about about players in the Bundesliga. Don't have a go at us for thinking out loud. The manager clearly has reservations, and he's not wholly satisfied with the play coming down Martinelli's side. Now, Martinelli plays his best football, and he's played his best football this season with Jesus. So there is a bit of concern in terms of my analysis of what I saw yesterday and what I saw at the North London derby. Martinelli is out of form. It's blatant. In fact, he scored a very, very good goal against West Ham, but since then he struggled, and he scored a good goal against Brighton. But since then, he struggled. I think teams have worked him out, and I think Eddie is a different kind of player to the extent that Eddie would chase down the goalkeeper and chase down defenders. He doesn't really go down those channels. He likes to get in the box, fox in the box. Now, by him not going down those channels, that kind of impacts on Martinelli's game, because if you look at Jesus had that axis down the left-hand side with Zinchenko and Martinelli, and that gave Martinelli more space. You looked at Martinelli yesterday, he'll get the ball, looked at Wan-Bissaka, I don't fancy that, he's too quick for me, and he'll cut in and then make the pass. He never won. Very rarely did he get down the byline. The only time he tried to get down the byline was when McTominay got into like I said, Wan-Bissaka's position. So that's an area where I was a bit concerned. But in the second half, we upped our game. You know, I thought Tomiyasu, did okay. Although I think he struggled a bit with Rashford. The second goal was sloppy because of it. Ramsdale was at 60s or 70s. You can blame the defender all you like, but in your box, the goalkeeper is always in charge. But you know what? We had this bounce back ability. And that's one thing you can never cater for. You know, there are times when we, against Liverpool as well, we had the bounce back ability. When it got to 2-2, we just thought, you know what? If we win this game, it puts even extra pressure on Man City. And that's one of the things I like about this team. We try to win games. And, you know, we at the tempo of our passing was a lot sharper in the second half. It was sharp, for most of the first half, then it got a bit slower. But you can't knock, what the players are doing. They really, 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 are grasping this chance. Now, a lot of Arsenal fans, I don't know about you guys, but everyone is scared to talk about the word title or championship, and I'm one of them.
I'm not,
because I'm
negative apparently.
No, reason it's not from a sort of negative. It's a cautionary tale because 19 games is such a long lot to do. I don't get me wrong; it's been a brilliant start by us, and we are putting Man City under a lot of pressure by winning our games. But you just never know with football. Anything can go wrong, and I think that's why the club is trying to sign a defender, trying to get a midfielder in, and trying to secure that left side forward spot, where there are reservations about Martinelli's performances. I would like a striker, and that's not slagging off Eddie before anyone gets into some sort of their knickers in a twist. It's because I want another variety because let's face it, Eddie's the only striker we've got in the club. So if you're trying to go for the title and he hits a poor vein of form, or say as soon as Jesus is fully fit, Arteta reverts back to his first choice lineup and his first choice tactics, because let's face it, his first choice is Jesus. So I expect Jesus to walk back in the team. That's not slagging off Eddie. It's just that the way we're playing played with Jesus suits the team overall, and it puts teams under greater pressure, and we can play with much more pace in the last third. Plus, it gets the best out of Martinelli. Again, these are other options, but another striker. Say if we were to do a Man United and hit the ball long and want someone to hold it up, that's all I'm asking for, a bit of variety, because there are going to be games where who knows, we drop points because players, one or two players are off form, or we just can't put that ball in there, because it's happened a few times over the last few years. And look at in 2008 season, Adebayor was going for a rich goal scoring phase. Then he went off the boil, and then poor old Eduardo got kicked out of the game by Martin Taylor. So look what happened there. That's why I want to sort of think, I don't want anything to happen to us in 2023 like it happened in 2008, because let's face it, Adebayor, if Eduardo is fit, when Adebayor was going for his dry spell, who knows, we could have won the league that season.
Yeah, 100%, mate. That was the season we should have won it. We didn't strengthen. 2016, when Leicester won it, again, we only signed Petr Cech that summer, didn't invest in January, should have won it. And now it's nice to see that the club are actually acting like a big club. We've gone out there, we've signed a new player. He came on, he looked lively when he came on. And let's be real, we were all shouting for him to come on 10, 15 minutes earlier. And we was like, come on, how are they making subs before us? Get him on, get him on, get him on. I can imagine that was the same in the ground. Bring him on, get him on. Let's go for it, blah, blah, blah. And he came on and he did affect the game, because it was him running with the ball that ended up with us getting the goal. I think a lot of people are saying he got an assist. I'm not sure whether he gets an assist for that. I don't even know if it was him that took the last touch before Eddie, but I don't know. Assists don't mean you've had a good game, but he did look very sharp when he came on, I can't lie. And he looked very quick with his feet in the box. I see 5 Man United players all scared to touch him, which was kind of good. But the thing is, look, when you sign a new player, it's very easy to, and he's in a position that Martinelli's in. It's very easy to say, "Oh, we'll drop Martinelli." It's very easy to say Martinelli's not been very good in the last couple of games. I think we can all accept that.
Yeah, but I think a bit more than that, Lee. I think over. If you look at Martinelli, some of our fans look at Martinelli a lot more favourably than they look at Saka. But Saka's a complete package. Saka is exactly. I think what Mikel wants. He wants what Saka gives us on the right for a player like Martinelli or any other player to give us that on the left hand side, and we don't get that on the left hand side from Martinelli. He's a very raw footballer. He's very exciting. He's a street footballer. He's off the cuff, but sometimes off the cuff tends to not provide you any kind of consistency. When you've got Saka, he's actually playing consistently well. He consistently scares defenders. He consistently, in terms of he has efforts on goal. He consistently tries to get down the ball. He consistently tries to put crosses in. I don't think we get that from Martinelli on a consistent basis. He's exciting, yes, but in terms of the full package, I think the manager would want what Saka gives us on the right to be replicated by Martinelli, and I don't think he's been giving us for that a lot. He's given us very beautiful moments, off the cuff moments, but off the cuff, when we're trying to win the league and trying to dominate over a few years, I don't think that's going to be enough.
Yeah, he's not gone up as quickly in levels as Saka has this season, that's for sure. And I think, if we'd said at the start of the season, I know Saka won Player of the Season twice for us, but I think if we said at the start of the season who's going to have a better season, I think most people would have said Martinelli. Even though Saka has won Player of the Season twice, but mate, he's gone up light years this season, Saka. And that goal yesterday, listen, that I watched the whole game back earlier today. It's like when you're doing a watch along and you're talking, you're reading the chat. It's like you're watching it, and I was watching it obviously, but I wanted to watch it where it was peace and quiet, draw the curtains, and let me just sit back and watch it. So I sat back and watched it. That goal from Saka yesterday, mate, the power he got on that shot, and from that far out, yeah, and it was so obvious what he wanted to do, and Eriksen couldn't get near him. Literally couldn't get near him. He cut inside and he held him off a little bit, but mate, what a goal! There was a lot of good goals. All four goals. All three of our goals, and their first goal were quality yesterday. Like sloppy from Partey for their first goal, but take nothing away from Rashford. That was a wicked strike, man. And at first sight, I was like, maybe the keeper should have had that. But then watching it back again today, it's like, okay, the power beat him. Right, and even if he had hit that maybe 25% less power, the keeper ain't saving that. He tucked that right in the corner, a little bit of bend on it as well. It was a good game. It was a great game to watch. And being watching it live as it's happening, Kenny, they're the games that I miss. Yeah, real talk, mate. They are the games where you're at the ground, the stadium's rocking, and then you score a winner against that lot in the stoppage time. Yeah, it's class, man. But one thing I will say, I'm going to credit Man United as well, by the way, because they made us look pretty average in that first half, and they're going to be a problem next season for sure. And it was nice to see some of the reactions of other channels and other fans and just people in the chat in general yesterday. That game meant a lot to us yesterday, because it's like we know Man United are decent now. Yeah, they're not the finished article by any stretch of the imagination, but they're going to be a big problem next season. And Ten Hag in 18, 19 games, whatever it is, without his best player, made us look bang average in that first half. But then after that, you could see the fact that their squad depth was just as their bench was worse than ours. Their bench was shocking yesterday. They had nothing on it. And yeah, man, it was a bit of a throwback to the old games against them lot. Up at Old Trafford and at the Emirates, man. So yeah, it was good, man. I really enjoyed it. And watching it back again today, with knowing the result, it was a lot better. Put it that way. And nearly had a heart attack about 1 million times. I didn't even celebrate the third goal until I see it weren't offside. I was like, I ain't getting into that one. I need to see that there's not VAR'd offside yet, man. It was nerve wracking for about a minute while I looked at it. But I want to talk about Jesus quickly, Jez. Yeah, he did an interview yesterday at the ground, and he said he's going to be back in about 4 or 5 weeks, maybe. Do you think, a lot of people are asking this, do you think he walks straight back in the team if Eddie carries on?
Well, if he's fully match fit, yes, I think he will. And I think because Arteta wanted him big time, he's sort of built the team, I think, early part of the season when he was fit and playing around him. I think he suits the plan, Arteta's game plan. So yeah, I it's going to be a tricky one. But if he comes back fit in 6 weeks, maybe 2 months, then I can see him slotting straight back in, purely and simply because of what trouble he causes for away teams. He's a bit of a nightmare for away defense, home or away defense, wherever we're playing. He's got that sort of wizardry, devilry in him that causes confusion. Defenders are scared to tackle him. And I think he's got a little bit more in him than I think at this point in time Eddie Nketiah has. I think that's down to experience. And I think he is not quite so easily knocked off the ball that I think at this point Nketiah can be. I think Nketiah's a little bit rash, but that's youth and he'll get better. So, yeah, I think he will, mate. I think he will. And I actually was chatting with somebody on the phone earlier, and they were saying, "Oh, do you think?" Similar question: if Eddie Nketiah scores 10 goals in the next 5 games, do you think he'll still be playing ahead of Jesus? I said, no, because Jesus brings to the party something different. Okay, yeah, he's not a prolific goal scorer, so my comment may sound stupid here, but what he does do, he takes defenders out of the game and brings in the likes of Martinelli. And if Martinelli's not playing, with our new player in Trossard, who I actually look, I've seen him play live twice, Trossard, and he's a class player. There's no doubt about that. And he will cause real drama when he settles into the team. He proved it in the short time he was on yesterday, what his abilities are. And I'm looking forward to that guy getting 70-odd minutes, which he may against Man City on the FA Cup Friday night. I hope he does, because I think it's time to rest Martinelli at this point in time. I totally agree with you, Lee and Kenny. Martinelli, I think, needs to have a bit of a timeout. He looks a bit burnt to me, but yeah, I can see him step. To answer your question, Lee, I think he will step straight back into the team.
But do you think, I want to ask you before I come to Kenny, do you think that if, like, he said he's going to be back in about 4 or 5 weeks, roughly, Jesus said, yeah? So in 4 or 5 weeks, he's going to miss, 4 or 5 games maybe, yeah, by the time he actually gets back in the team. If Eddie scores 2, even just 2 goals in them 4 or 5 games, but we're still top of the table, we're still won, we're still not lost, we're still getting wins, picking up points, etc. What would that do for his confidence if Arteta says, sorry, mate, you dropped? It's like, when we're going to need this whole squad. And listen, as much as we don't rate him, he's chipped in. Yeah. And Jesus has been out injured for a long time by the time he then returns. Should he be walking straight back in the team? Even though he offers something completely different outside of the box, should he walk back in?
That is a brilliant question, and I'm sitting here thinking, if I was the Arsenal manager with this dilemma, and it is a dilemma, you've got a player that scored 2 goals in, let's say Nketiah scores 3 goals in the next 5 games, and yet you've got Jesus there who's now fit. Personally, I think Jesus is going to take longer than that to get back up to match fitness. He's had a bad injury. He says, 4 to 5 weeks. Well, will he be match fit? I don't know. I'm not a medical person. But yes, your question is very good in the fact that would it not Eddie's confidence? I don't think so. I think Eddie probably knows that Jesus is the number 1 ahead of him. He came in, we paid a lot of money for him. So I think he's probably aware that if he comes back, he's going to be on the bench. And the nice thing about this, Lee, I think this is great, the great point, and this is what we've been saying for a long, long time. If you've got 2 players that are vying for that position, it only makes them better, because they know they've both got to step up and get that job. Yeah, they've got to get in there and say, well, actually, I'm better than you, or yeah, I'm better than you. They've got to prove it to Arteta. I'm starting on Saturday or Sunday or whatever night of the game, the days we play now, which are bizarre, and say, right, yeah, I'm starting ahead of you, mate, because I'm actually better than you. And I love all that. That's what we used to have. We used to have that at this club. We had players that would fight for positions, and that is what competitive football is about. You can't just have, as we have had, 11 first-team players and everybody's, oh, yeah, well, I'm going to start Saturday. Nobody else to beat me. Yeah, I'm starting. We had that with Aubameyang. We had that with Ozil. We had that with numerous other players. So we're now in a position where we've got, in one position, 2 players are going to be thinking, I've got to be effing good to get in the team. Can't ask more than that.
No, 100%, mate. What do you reckon, Kenny?
Look, the fact is that it's a great question. I understand people's views. They're saying, a few people said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Some people are saying that, playing in form is just to stay in form. You can counter that by saying form's temporary, class is forever. But in that argument, I think it's a bit, you have to sort of analyse that a bit more. The problem is that Jez mentioned man management. Well, Arteta has to win this league this season. He needs it for himself, for the team, and some sort of affirmation that that the club were right all along to give him this time that all 3 of us didn't want him to have. We genuinely believe even now that he's still lucky to be in a job, but you only have to look over at the left back situation where Kieran Tierney hasn't done anything wrong. What about his confidence? What about his man management? We couldn't wait to get him in the side. The songs in itself. Tierney at the bank, Gabby in attack, Arsenal.
Run away to Champions League. We are this season.
Yeah. So, but the fact is that the team has to come first because, I've been kicking and screaming on Kieran Tierney's behalf. But the fact is, we need Zinchenko in that team. It wasn't just that performance yesterday, which was, a man of the match performance. Absolutely beautiful play, flawless performance by him. But I've seen other performances, and I get it. To the fact that when Zinchenko was injured, Arteta was trying to get Kieran Tierney to play like Zinchenko, not with great success, I'd say. But so really and truly, the team's going to come first, and if he genuinely believes that we're going to win the league playing the system that got us to, the great football we were playing before Jesus got injured, then he's coming and getting back in the team. I'm sorry, he's got to get back in the team because at the end of the day, I think we're playing a temporary system with Eddie in the team because Eddie can't replicate what Jesus gives him. As much as the problem is that Martinelli's not a winger, is he? He's a forward.
No,
he's a striker. So in terms of wanting to get the best out of Martinelli and needing more of Martinelli, he needs Jesus in that team. Yes, Eddie will score goals, but long term, the system and that system he needs Zinchenko in that team. The system needs Jesus playing up front. So Ed, the team's got to come first. Yeah, Eddie will do well, and Eddie can still come off the bench and still play the occasional game to get us back in. But my first choice lineup doesn't include any Nketiah. It's not personal, absolutely not personal. It's just that, I hate to say it, but I'm finding myself agreeing with a lot of my Arteta's decisions this season in terms of the tactics. I'm not a fan of this, but tactically, I get what he's doing.
Because it's winning football at the moment, Kenny. And at the end of the day, we're in the results business. And if you keep winning, that's it.
And that's the thing. It's the results. And I'm beginning to understand what he wants this season. I'm beginning to see the effectiveness of his decisions. So I'm just going by what I've seen. I fully endorse decision for Kieran Tierney to be on the bench. Reluctantly, but I'll do it. And I endorse a decision to bring Jesus back in the side. you know, and I understand the reservations he has about Martinelli. That Martinelli, at the end of the day, I don't have that decision over who we get in that left forward position. That's Arteta, but Arteta's doing this. You just get the feeling that you know he's like Pep. The team comes first. I've got to put the team first, and management will just have to wait. But
mate, I can totally see that, because look at the players that we've got out of the door since he's been here, right? And like we're all raising eyebrows at some of them at the time, right? But when you look at Pep's got a whole squad of players, and even he came out the other day after Tottenham, absolutely roasted them publicly. Like, he never mentioned names, but you could tell which ones he was talking about because they were all sat on the bench. Kyle Walker, Kevin De Bruyne, Cancelo, Bernardo Silva. Yeah, they've got no hunger. He was going, we've got no hunger in their bellies. 4 titles in 5 years. And we know this from some of them players because De Bruyne went to a World Cup and said we're too old to win it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So he's sitting there thinking, well, ain't you getting sacked if we don't win anything? Well, he won't get sacked. He's probably in the luxury of never getting sacked from City. But when you're in a results business, if your players are not doing the business and you end up slipping away from what the standards were, then you are going to get sacked at some point. So, end of the day, if Tierney don't get back in the team, tough, whether I like it or not, whether he's my favourite player or not, tough, he ain't in the team. If the team keeps winning, don't matter, does it? We just want to see our team win. It don't matter what players are there. Like, at the end of the day, we could win win the league with Eddie Nketiah scoring the winning goal on the last day of the season. We don't like Eddie Nketiah as a footballer and don't think he's that great. Yeah, he's all right. He's not great, but if he wins us a title, he goes down as a legend of the club. It's as simple as that. Anyone who wins a title for this football club becomes a legend. It's as simple. That's simple for me.
He's great at you, but Aaron Ramsey's a legend at Arsenal because of the 2 cup final wins. But was he? I know not to you, but
some Cup legend is not an Arsenal legend.
I'm trying to say FA Cup legend, but you know, there's people who are divided about his utility as a football club. You know, he certainly wasn't. He wasn't the player we hoped he'd be. We wasn't the Cesc Fabregas player we needed him to be, was he? But he scored those. He scored the winner against Hull. Scored the winner against Chelsea. You know, that is legendary status to a lot of fans.
It is, but this is where I differ with legendary status for scoring a winner in an FA Cup final. Yes, cool, you've done it twice, and listen, fantastic, great, loved it. I was there for the Chelsea game. But it's a cup competition. And that's not taking anything away from him because you've still got to do it. The same as a Champions League final.
Yeah? But the context
over a 38-game season, Kenny, if you're part of a massive part of that team that win a league.
Look, I hear what you're saying, but you've got to remember, this is a different Arsenal team from the Wenger team. Remember, Wenger went 9 years without winning a title. And the FA Cup was our league titles because we didn't have a.
I see what you're saying. No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I think that's where Aaron, you know, would get some sort of legendary status because he broke the duck. I mean, people seem to forget, you know, with all this singing and dancing and all this Wenger lovings and all this stuff about Wenger was a great manager. He went 9 years without winning a trophy. 9 years. We laugh at Spurs about not winning a trophy, and it's probably going to be 15 years. Let's not forget, we had their trophy drought. It was 9 years. 9 years.
Yeah, that was the proper fun career.
Remember, we didn't win a trophy between 53 and 70. That's 17 years. So, you know, we've had ups and downs as well. But Arsene Wenger, the great Lord Wenger, went 9 years without winning a trophy. People seem to forget that.
Good point.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, facts, mate. I understand what you're saying. 9-year trophy drought. He ends it. I get that. And listen, I would put that in more of a cult hero bracket than legend. But I get some people will call him a legend. Yeah, but for me, cup legend, FA Cup legend. But what do you think, Jez? Before we wrap up, mate, did you think Aaron Ramsey's a legend?
No. No. Sorry.
So either I think a lot of people do.
No, they will. But at the same time, a lot of people will not see him as will see him as a legend because that might be the first trophy they've seen us win.
Yeah, so I get that. But no, I'm sorry. There's far better players in my book that have played for this club and won league trophies that are legends and aren't recognised. But unfortunately, they're all too long ago. Dare I say it? Certain player like Charlie George, great player.
But that's why when they unveiled that wrap of the stadium and all of that, the plans for there, and I watched all the interviews, like George Graham, like talking about the team and all that, and you're seeing all the old players there, and it's like it's nice that they were all there, literally all there, because that is our history, and add up how many trophies they've won between all of them people that were there. Like that is our history, and that is the standards, and that is the tradition of this football club. Look how many trophies we've won. Look at where we've been, what we've achieved. Take Europe out of it, but in domestic football, we've been up there. And that is why the likes of us, and you guys are a bit older than me, but all three of us between us have seen the greatness of this football club. And we want that back, which is why we have been fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting for them to act like a big club. And now they're doing it. We're happy.
Can I just make a point here? I've always never understood this. There is a statue outside for Herbert Chapman. Quite rightly, awesome manager. Yeah. One of the players that achieved greatness for Arsenal Football Club in all the league championships they won in the 30s was down to a certain player called Cliff Baston.
Yeah.
Arsenal's highest goal scorer until it was beaten by Ian Wright. Why has that man not got recognition at the Emirates? I don't get it. You go to the Emirates, and where do you see anything about Cliff Baston?
Good point. I think definitely. I think that's something the club have got to do a lot better, because the fact is that you've got a stadium, and the way I look at it is, if you've got a stadium that is new, and you want to sort of like educate our younger fans, then you have to celebrate our time, because we were the team of the 30s. You know, we were the first. We were the first team to have numbers on the back of their shirts. We were called the Bank of England club. We were the club that everyone would aspire to be. You know,
basically the Man City of that era.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like,
first TV on live radio, and the first ever televised football match. What does that say about Arsenal?
And that, you know, another thing as well, Jez. We don't call ourselves the Arsenal. It was our opponents who called us the Arsenal. You know, so you know, like there was some pork chop, it was reality pork chop, which supports West Ham, Mark Wright, a few years ago. said, "Oh, why do you not call? Why is everyone to call Arsenal the Arsenal?" Well, I'm sorry, Mark. It was people who are older than you and probably got more respect for history than you have, mate, who called us the Arsenal, because we were the team, mate.
Well, I remember I actually asked the question of this once to my granddad when I was about 12, 13. I said, "Granddad, why do they used to call Arsenal the Arsenal?" And he said, because in the 30s, when we were going up to Newcastle or Man United or Liverpool or whatever, they'd say in the paper, we're playing the Arsenal. We're playing the Arsenal because of the reputation that Arsenal had. And that's how it came about. It wasn't Arsenal, it was the Arsenal.
Yep. And on that bombshell, we're going to have to wrap this up because I'm 5 minutes late for Henry's channel. He's mourning the loss of, I would say the loss of his football club, but I haven't really achieved anything in his lifetime anyway.
Well, have you saw the protest this weekend?
I haven't seen it yet. I genuinely haven't seen it.
Well, Henry will tell you all about it when you
Perfect. I've got a quick question before we go for Kenny. Will you be watching South Africa versus England this Friday?
What do you think, mate? Of course I will.
Kenny has the luxury of being able to work from home most of the time, so he gets to watch everything.
Is that netball?
No, it's not a luxury. Watching cricket, watching cricket is a luxury. It's a pleasure.
It's like watching paint dry, if I'm honest.
I was waiting for that. I did give you an open goal.
Is that a test match? Is this the 5-day thing, like the 5-day ones?
No, it's one day cricket. But
is it 2020?
I'm sure, Jez, I'm sure between the both of us, we can lead down to a day's play at the Oval. I'm sure we can work that one.
Blimey.
Mate, 2020 cricket's bearable. Yeah, because at least they have a go and start smashing it out
That's
the park.
not cricket.
Yeah.
Don't call that cricket.
But 5 days and it could end in a draw. No, prawn sandwiches at half time, like not even half time. It's let's go for tea. It's a
no.
Lee,
It's actually Pims, Pims, mate. Cricket.
No wonder the game takes 5 days. They're all smashed. What you got coming up, Jez? What you got coming up, mate?
I was going to do one tonight, history one, but I've actually got to delay it till tomorrow. I forgot I've got to go out at 7:30. And I was going to do it at 7, so I'm doing it tomorrow night. So Warren, if you're still watching, I do apologise, mate. It'll be tomorrow at 7 o'clock. And then 6 o'clock on Wednesday will be the podcast, hopefully with Kenny. Gracie's on. And I might have a new guest, chap that's contacted me on Insta, Arsenal fan, and he wants to come on, have his say, and fair play to him. And then obviously whatever comes up during the week.
What about you, Kenny?
Well, what I'm doing right now after this is I'm going to cook, I'm going to cook potatoes, all the chicken, season it, and I'm going to cook jollof rice. So all these people who think that I'm an Englishman, I can cook jollof rice. All right. So I'll give you guys a clue to my heritage.
Yeah.
Get it?
Really?
Well, I'm going to do the show with Henry Wright, and then I'm going to eat my lamb fowl. That doesn't show my heritage. I just like Indian food.
Oh man, the fowl. Oh, dear God.
Yeah, I asked them to spice it up even more because they don't do it hot enough. So yeah, pray for me. But yeah, man, it's all good. But listen, I'm going on Henry Wright TV right now, so make sure you come and join us on that. I'm going to sit there with a smug grin on my face, and he's going to sit there crying about his rubbish football team. So that should be fun. They're playing Fulham tonight. So
Fulham.
Yeah, up the Fulham. But yeah, it's going to be good. But big up to everyone who's watching, man. Big up to everyone who smashed the like button, stuck a donation in comments and all of that. And big up to everyone watching on playback. I will be back again tomorrow with Terry Flewers. He's getting roasted for calling me a flip-flop. And I'll be back on here with Rants. He'll be getting roasted because we've done his team in stoppage time. Fergie time. So yeah, it's all good, man. And all have a wonderful evening. We're out of here, people. Up the Arsenal.
Come on,
Up the Arsenal.